Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashim Hamashiach, Wa Malak Yahushai. Second, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Today in this cold cut, we'll be going over Sirach, the 14th chapter. We're going to dive right into it. Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Right, that's pretty plain upon tables. Alright, you don't want to be that guy that always says the wrong thing and always slipping at the mouth, and don't be that guy. Alright, verse 2. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. You don't want to let your conscience condemn you when it comes to certain matters. Right? Hey, just have faith and hope in the Lord that you're making the best decision. Alright, and that's the precept in Sirach somewhere. Let me pull it up. Move this out the way. Where it says, trust in thine own soul. This is Sirach 32 and 23. In every good work, trust thy own soul, for this is the keeping of the commandments. Now, that's not to be, misunderstood by leaning upon your own understanding. Right, let's bring that out in Proverbs 3 and 5, or 3 and 7. 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and leave not unto thine own understanding. Right, these two verses aren't contradicting because the Lord doesn't contradict. He's not the author of confusion. That's 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So let's go back to Sirach and break it down properly. The book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse that's not the one we really matched it up with. Sirach 37 and 23. Is that at? Let me find it again. 32 and 23. In every good work, trust thine own soul. Right, when it comes to doing a work, you might have to make a judgment call or a split-second decision. You have to have faith that, you did what you thought was right through the Spirit, right? And you have faith in the Lord that he guided your judgment to make a righteous decision, right? And all your decisions are predicated off the law. All right, so let's go back to Sirach. So again, blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord. Riches are not comely for a niggard. And I want to pause, not only because it's a colon, but also because a lot of Jake that read this, they think a niggard is a synonym to nigger or nigger or negro. Right? A niggard is a selfish person. Right? And keeping in a historical context, riches are not comely, meaning good or goodly or kindly for a niggard, a selfish person. Why? Because the rich, they're typically selfish. And what should an envious man do with money? You see that? Going to do all manner of wickedness. That's why it says, first off, it said again, and what shall an envious man do with money? Where is that at? Sirach 22. There is much sin between buying and selling. So many precepts. 27 and 2. As a nail sticketh fast between the joining of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. There's a lot of sin between buying and selling. Not your average buying and selling, but perhaps having a business somewhere along the lines, there's going to be some type of sin in the midst of that business, right? It's almost pretty much inevitable, especially if you're in the world. Verse 3. Riches are not comely for a niggard, and what shall an envious man do with money? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods riotously. And that's a nigga, that's a sellout. Right? That's a super sellout. Bring out this other precept. This is Sirach 10 and 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. He gave up his rump, he gave up his body, his soul. You have a lot of people doing that. That goes back to Revelation. So like, yeah, I want to say 18. And 13. This is all the trading, the importing and exporting, all the businesses that Esau does with these nations. They trade and sell, verse 13, in cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Right? They sell out people and they kind of toss that person to the other person for whatever reason he may have. So back to Sirach 14. He that is eating, this is a beautiful verse. He that is evil to himself, whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Right? If you're evil to yourself, you're not going to give a damn about nobody else. And we've seen that. We can all come up with a testimony, where that happened in our life. Brothers got a testimony, sisters. It kind of, we can share that if you want in the comments. But verse 6, there's none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And you definitely don't want to envy yourself. You being prideful, right? You got that mentality of, I don't have enough. I need more than what I have. Verse 6, there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doth good, he doth it unwillingly. Right? If he do some type of good, for some odd reason, should he do some type of charity or good, and he do it unwillingly. He did it by accident. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. The envious man hath a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. That's why it says the eye is wicked. Let me bring that out. There's nothing else more wicked than the eye. I gotta find that. Sirach 31 and 13. Remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than an eye? Therefore it weepeth upon every occasion. So the eye is the most wickedest thing. All right, let's link that back up with Sirach 14. 14 and 10. A wicked eye envieth his bread. It's like, that's not where we're at. 14 and 8. The envious man hath a wicked eye. He turneth away his... Is that where we's at? Yeah. The envious man hath a wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth him. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. These verses are plain upon tables. In fact, it's just saying the same thing over and over. All right. Verse 10. A wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself, and give the Lord his due offering. Right, like it says in Sirach 35 and 4. Right, don't appear empty before the Lord. Right, did the Levitical priest ever appear empty before the Lord and say, I forgot to sacrifice the incense, Salakia? You can never appear empty before the Lord. All right, verse 12. Remember that death will not be long in coming, and that the covenant of the grave is not shewed unto thee. Right, death is always around the corner. Do good unto thy friend before thou die, according to thy ability. Stretch out thy hand and give to him. This is what you call charity. Defraud not thyself of a good day, and let not the part of a good desire overpass thee. And this is for a lot of you Jakes. Being in this captivity is hell. You're going through it mentally, physically, spiritually. You may be catching hell at work. At home, you may have a wicked woman. And for you sisters, you may have a wicked ass man that smoke weed all damn day and read the Quran. Hey, this place is wicked. All right. But at the same time, you don't want to defraud yourself of a good day. For an example, if it's 80 degrees and you got a bike, you can go to the park and go bike riding, all right? That's not a sin. Jake, don't think that and I don't want to use the word fun, but don't, defraud thyself of a good day. Brother, you can go play basketball with the brothers. You can go play Xbox sometimes. Not all the time, obviously. I shouldn't have to say that, but, don't defraud yourself of a good day. Go watch a good movie. Go out to that restaurant that you've been wanting to go out to. All right. Do all these things in wisdom. All right. Don't let it kind of take over your soul. And now you saying this, you applying this verse to every day. Right. Now you having fun. All right. Now you going off. You understand what I'm saying? And let not the part of a good desire overpass thee. Verse 15. Shalt thou not leave thy travels unto another? Travails to another, and that labors to be divided by lot. Give and take, sanctify thy soul, for there is no seeking of deities in the grave. Right? You gotta be charitable in this thing. All right. Verse 17. All flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death. Or that's a covenant. We all have a covenant. We got to deal with it. Verse 18. As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow, so is the generation of flesh and blood. One cometh to an end and another is born. This is a precept for the topic of regeneration. Verse 18. Every work riseth and consumeth away, and the work thereof shall go withal. Blessed is the man that doeth meditate good things,